Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Williamson, and I am one of the co-presidents for the 25-26 school year for Valley and Valley Southwoods. I just wanted to say thank you for taking time out of your day to attend our meeting. If you haven't done so already, find us on Facebook as I think it's VHS PTO. That's where you will find volunteer opportunities, help with conference meals, and anything else more immediate asks. And if you have not done so yet, please go to vhspto.org. There you'll find a volunteer form and a link to make a donation. All donations do go back to help fund a scholarship, teacher meals, teacher appreciation, and staff recognition through the district. I think the only news I have to share is that homecoming is the first Saturday of October, and we needed volunteers to help sell tickets at both schools, but I believe the sign up is pretty full. There may be a spot or two open, and you'll find that link on Facebook. But otherwise, I will turn it over to Dr. Christensen, or is it Dr. Hill?
Yep.
So whoever would like to start.
Go. Why don't you go? If you're ready, go ahead.
Nope. I've
Okay.
never done this before, so lead the way,
All right.
Shane.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Dr. Christensen here from Valley High School. This is my second time I've joined the Valley PTO. So at the end of the year last year was just like, hey, hello. I've been at Indian Hills and now I'm at Valley. I'm really excited about the start of the school year. One of those things I'm excited about is being able to work with Dr. Hill over at Valley Southwoods. We've really tried to open up communications, and that's been really advantageous for both of us since we're both new learning this process, and new with experience, I would call it. So we're very much enjoying the start of the year. We're on our fourth week. We've actually on our second week of running the same schedule, which is very helpful. Students are starting to get into the routines. You're seeing them moving to class even better. We're seeing good things. We're out in classes. We're seeing good things in classes. A lot of good things going on at both buildings. And we've been talking a lot about even how to take it to another level. So one of the things that we need to report out to parents is our school improvement plans for the year. So I'm going to share the school improvement plans for Valley High School, and they're probably not very different from Valley Southwoods because we all kind of have the same kind of focuses. So our first academic focus at Valley is we like 80% of our students to earn a 2.8 GPA or above for first and then for second semester. And that's just the GPA that research shows students are prepared to go for whatever their next career opportunity is. So we're really pushing for that. We've been below that 80%, and we are trying to raise that level. For attendance, we'd like 80% of our students to attend 90% of the time, and that's been a goal that we haven't met either. Attendance is something we're continuing to work on, and we're looking at several different ways to do that, which I'll talk about in a minute. Third, our social emotional goal is that we'll score 80% or higher on the PBIS TFI. So PBIS is positive behaviors, interventions, and supports. All of the West Des Moines schools are PBIS schools. The TFI is the Tiered Fidelity Inventory, and it's a survey that tells you how well you're implementing the PBIS system. So we're basically rebooting and restarting and already have some good things going, which I can talk about. And our third goal is around culture, and that's 90% of the students and 90% of the staff will feel a sense of belonging on our daily desired experience surveys. I know parents also receive a daily desired experience survey. And so we have a baseline data from last year, and we're looking to build on that. We think 90% is right in the area that we would like to be. Actually, we'd like to be higher. So we're starting with 90. Our goals are all focused around culture. So culture, culture, culture is what I've been sharing. We feel like through culture, we can attain all of these other goals. And so we're centering our work around a book called Warm Demander. So we're looking at how can we be caring, but how can we also set clear expectations that students can know and be able to attain, and that we can support them in attaining. So we're doing that through setting our PBIS expectations of what behavior looks like in the halls and in the classroom and at lunch, all over the building, and also finding ways to recognize students when they are doing the right thing. So we use PBIS rewards to do that. We also have a system with minors that students can know exactly what a minor is and if they're getting one. And we'll have then systems to recognize students above and beyond PBIS rewards, and also to follow up with students that have multiple minors so we can change behavior. And that's the bottom line. With our schedule change, we've have now advisory 3 times a week, and that's been good for us because we really needed to dive back into some social emotional learning and career exploration and career pathways. I think some of that we weren't hitting as hard as we could, and I think this is going to be beneficial for us through the course of this year. We also are looking at doing our PLCs, which are professional learning communities, a little differently, which are the departments like English and math and tech ed. And so we're looking at some different ways to kind of make them more rigorous, to look at some data. And that leads to what we're doing with Encore. And Encore is just a way to have interventions for students for some reteaching and some relearning. So then that might lead to some reassessment and also could lead to some enrichment opportunities. So all of these things are different at Valley High School this year. And one of the ways that we're doing that is through committee work. So once a Wednesday, when we have collaboration, we have committees. There are 16 committees, and they're all working on lifting the work of all the things that I just talked about. We've met now once and getting ready to meet a second time. There's a lot of energy around what we're doing and energy around just a positive feeling in the building of culture and getting after things. And I think you could pretty much talk to anyone and they would tell you that they feel that way. So that's kind of our short and skinny, quick. This is what we're doing at Valley High School. So a lot of change and yet not a lot of change. We're doing some things, doing them a little differently, doing things a little more collaboratively, and really, really focusing on culture and belonging and taking care of each other with clear expectations. Any questions on that, either in the chat or you can unmute before I turn it over to Dr. Hill?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, whatever he said. No, okay. No, Lisa Hill, this is my 39th year in education. Yes, I did come out of retirement to do this job, and I'm really glad I did. I'd worked with Dr. Adams in Ankeny years ago, but I'm having fun. I'm a little tired, but I'm having fun. I walked into a great situation here at Southwoods. Haley Hawkinsmith, our associate principal's online. So I keep going to Haley, now what do we do? And she's got it. The cool thing that I want to say about Southwoods is the data that I walked into, it just keeps improving. But here's the kicker. We have different kids every single year. So it doesn't matter what kids you have, the teachers are growing and having an impact on students, because looking at academics, so if you go back quite a few years, they were clear down to 62% A's and B's academically. Well, last year they were up to 85.7%. So we've set the goal of 90% this year. So that's amazing to see the growth in that, because it's really about teacher efficacy, our collective efficacy, and it's working. It just amazes me. The same thing happened with attendance. It just keeps improving. So one of our CSIP goals for attendance, we want 79% this year. It's just steadily improved over the past few years. So really comes back to the teachers working together, figuring out how to educate students. Haley, jump in anytime you want. I have two mouses going here. I'm looking at multiple screens. I'm not very good about that. The social emotional behavior piece, because really to me, that's employability skills, getting kids ready for life. The goal is set at 95% this year. That's really high. I've been in 6 different districts. That is really, really good. So it's amazing to me that it just keeps getting better. We have good kids. We've got great families, and the teachers, they're all coming together to help kids grow, because you just don't get your diploma and you're done. You have to help them grow across the bridge into that next post-secondary life. And then in working with the high school, I think that's what we want to do. We're one team. We're really one high school. We have different attendance centers, but we're one high school working to help these kids get to where they need to be in life. So that's very impressive. And of course, culture is always number one, right? Why would you want to be here if it's not fun to be here? We're working with kids, so it's crazy sometimes, but we have to take care of people. And so this year, our goal about culture is that sense of belonging. And yeah, we want to aim for 100%. 100% is hard, but hey, if it's anywhere above 95%, that is fantastic. Matt Adams told me Southwoods they're in a great position right now. You're going to have fun. And he's right. This is a really amazing place. I hope you can come visit. I'm excited to work with the parent team here. Our staff's amazing. The kids are amazing. I've met kids and they shake my hand. That hasn't happened in a long time. So good job, parents. I raised boys. So that's pretty amazing. But I'm excited to work with this team and help kids grow. Did I miss anything, Haley?
I just think it's really important to note that with our data around student academics, all of our work is embedded in our PLCs. So we've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years ensuring that through our PLC time, that's one of our students are taught on an 8-period block. Every teacher is guaranteed 1 period of PLC. Our teachers are required to meet 2 times a week in PLCs for a minimum of an hour at a time. Within those PLCs, they are disaggregating all of their data every week, looking at their students and where they're being successful. Those students are they're looking every week at all of their data, whether it's common formative assessments or their summative data, into their student groups to identify where are students being successful, where are they not, and they're really being very critical of themselves and where do they need to change their instruction to make sure that they're meeting their students where they're at. And so because we have that PLC time, we are seeing that's where we've seen that incredible amount of growth over a very short period of time. Administrators and instructional coaches are in those PLCs giving feedback. We're deeply ingrained in that work. And so I would say that because we have that guaranteed time, that's where we're also ensuring that all of our professional development is then we're seeing that also come to fruition within our PLCs. So thank you for giving our teachers that time. If they did not have that time, I don't know that we would be able to dig into the data the way that we are.
Cool part about culture is we have PLCs that meet more than required, and that's how you know you're getting there, because they want to get together and make things better for kids. So this is a great place. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, no questions. Then we have Elizabeth Larson, who's on the school board here to talk about the bond referendum.
Right. Hello, I'm Elizabeth Larson. As Mary mentioned, I'm on the school board in West Des Moines Community Schools. And so if you've had the opportunity to be at an elementary PTA or PTO meeting, you've heard Dr. Adams talk about the GEO bond. And so I'm going to do my best to replicate his talk. So I have lots of notes. So when we talk about GEO bond or a bond referendum, or sometimes called a general obligation bond. The reason why maybe you haven't heard of it or don't know what it is because West Des Moines Community Schools hasn't asked the public to approve a bond in over 20 years. So the reason why we're asking now is because our buildings are getting old and tired, and just like our homes, things wear out over time. The district has, in the past year or so, the district has developed some classroom standards. It's something we've talked about as a school board that we really would like, every classroom in our district to look, a certain way so that kids walking into the building, it doesn't matter which building they're in, and it doesn't matter if their classroom's in the new wing or in the old wing, that they're all having access to the same quality of learning environment. And so when we looked at our classroom standards that we set and then looked at our classrooms, we realized, with the rich carpeting, the old desks and furniture, and, just things that have worn out, that it's going to take quite a bit of money to get us up to where we need to be. And so we could do it over a long period of time, but a geo bond would help us do it faster and get everyone in the same type of classroom much faster. So let's talk just a little bit about school finance, because some of you may be wondering why we're talking about potential budget cuts this year, and then also asking for money to spend on school buildings and classrooms. And here's the thing, public school funding in Iowa is pretty complicated. All of our funding for different things comes from different sources. So for example, the school funding that we would have for teacher salaries and keeping our lights on and gassing up the buses and our curriculum, that all comes out of what's called our general fund. And that money is set by the state every year. So the state gives us a certain amount per student that goes into our general fund, and that's what we use to pay teacher salaries. And in fact, we've spent almost 80% of that money on teacher salaries alone. So that money doesn't get spent on things like building improvements. So I actually have a screen. I think I can share my screen. So they did send me a few slides I can share with you guys. So school funding for things like updating buildings comes primarily from our Pebble levy and our SAVE levy. So this money is used, as you can see, for non-instructional software, for HVAC repairs, for site repairs and improvements, debt repayment. Pebble is where we get money for our school-owned instruments, and our operations equipment comes from SAVE, and bus purchases come from SAVE, and buses are so expensive, by the way. So that's the money that we would need to use to do all of the building improvements that we're talking about doing with this bond money. So basically, when we look at what our Pebble and SAVE funds are, it's not going to be enough to allow us to make the improvements we want to do, which is why we're asking for a bond. And a bond is like a loan. Like if you needed to buy a new car or something and didn't have the cash to pay up front, you take out a loan, get the car right away, and then pay it back over time. And a geo bond is the same thing. We get the money up front, get to make the improvements, and then pay it back over time through property taxes. So the next question I often hear is, well, what are we going to do with $135 million? It's a really good question. So I'd like to tell you. The district sent out a survey over the summer asking families and community members for feedback on what they would like to see us improve in the district in terms of buildings and classrooms. And overwhelmingly, from the over 2,500 respondents, people said they wanted the money to be spent in the classrooms. So we are asking to spend $106 million to improve our physical learning environment, from paint, furniture, lighting, and air quality. We heard from families whose kids complain about the lights flickering or buzzing, and how we have carpeting coming up in corners that can be a hazard for students. We also want to spend this money updating the playgrounds in the district. and to reconfigure the main entrance at Valley High School for enhanced safety and security. So that's the bulk. $106 million would be into that foundation, putting it into the classrooms, and we intend to spend that on all district buildings. The second piece would be would be upgrading and existing and constructing new facilities to expand access for co-curricular and extracurricular activities. We have a lot of kids that want to be involved in all of the awesome things we're doing in this district. And, we don't have enough space for everyone to participate in what they want to participate in. So we want to expand spaces so we can enhance that opportunity for all students. As you can see, it includes constructing a $35 million multi-purpose activity facility, adding a mid-sized performing arts center in the Indian Hills area, constructing a band and equipment storage facility, upgrading the track and field facility at Valley Southwoods, and upgrading the technology and equipment at the high school performing arts center. We are doing, sorry, let me find where I am. Yeah, so the reason why we want to do all of these things is to attract and retain high quality staff and our awesome and wonderful families. We want to be the school of choice for the Metro. We know that people are looking at their options and considering what they think is best. And we, of course, think that the West Des Moines School District is best. And we want to make sure that we're showing that through what our facilities have to offer our students. And one of the great things about this plan is that it's going to impact every single student in our district. There's not a student who will not feel the impact from what we are planning on doing. So let's talk about taxes. So the GEO bond is supported through an increase in tax rate. Currently in West Des Moines Community Schools, we have the lowest tax rate in the Metro at the $12.22. This GEO bond, the $135 million bond, would increase your taxes by $1.52, which would bring us to a total of $13.74 for the tax rate for West Des Moines Community Schools, which, if you see on this slide here, demonstrated that we would still have the lowest tax rate in the Metro, even with this bond. Our taxes are really, really low here. And I know when some people, look at the new stuff that Waukee is building out at the Northwest High School, well, their taxes are significantly higher than ours. And it takes money to do that kind of nice stuff. So that's why we're asking. And so that increase of $1.52 in tax rate would increase your monthly tax bill by about $17.41 for a $300,000 home. So that's about the average home price in West Des Moines. And that's how much of an increase you would see, which Dr. Adams likes to say, so just don't go to Starbucks twice a month and that'll pay for it. But he must be getting something expensive, because I'd have to not go to Starbucks 3 times at least. Bottom line is, we want you all to be informed voters. Go to the polls on November 4th. We will be asking you to invest in our schools today to build a brighter future for our students tomorrow, doing it together. So thank you so much for letting me share this with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Dr. Christensen or Dr. Hill or Dr. Adams. We would all be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Does anybody have any questions right now for Elizabeth? I guess if not, then we can finish early. Just a reminder to go on Facebook and find the VHS PTO Facebook page, as well as vhspto.org, to make a donation that helps us support teachers at Valley and Valley Southwoods. Our next meeting is Thursday, November 13th. So I hope you all can join again. Thank you.
Thank you.